Hey, everybody. Welcome to a new episode. Tonight we got Zach with Nava Reptiles.
It's Nava, thank you very much. Like lava, but with an N.
Listen, I'm Canadian. I pronounce things funny. So I forgot to mute my computer. Just so everybody aware, Christopher Sexton's the dad in the chat right now. He has the power.
Let me turn the comments on so I can see everybody. Oh, here we go. Awesome. Rebecca,
right.
Chris Sexton, Corey, Wolfgeist, Tatum's Exotics, Mendy, what's up? John Feely, Corey Beneke, everybody. Look, we got all these freaking people in here. That's what I'm talking about. It's exciting.
It's exciting. It's because of you, not me. You.
Whatever. I'm not buying it.
Okay. I already see people are asking. I'm just going to set some ground rules here. The you game. Unless Zach says it or I say it doesn't count.
You're still in trouble, to be clear. So
now I promote you in the chat to try to get him to say it.
Yeah, by all means. So if you guys see me looking off screen, that's just me trying to keep up with the chat. So I will do my best.
He's not a pro like me with all the devices going.
Well, my setup in here right now is not like spectacularly laid out for this stuff, but it will be soon. I'm probably going to rearrange this whole room. I've got a bunch of stuff I'm going to move out, and so that hopefully I can get to where I have a screen that's actually next to where my webcam is. I literally right now have my webcam set up on what is supposed to be a light stand, like an Amazon light stand, but it has an adapter that'll still screw into my webcam. So that's what I'm videoing on right now.
Oh, we got Kier Constructors popped in. Kayla at Marvel Balls came in. Jules is in.
Freaking everybody's here. I love it.
All the usual suspects.
Kira, you're not wrong. I give you 4 minutes. Absolutely. By the way, Ultramel. Cheers.
Oh. I had the Scales family water imported from Idaho.
We thankfully I was able to source some water locally, so there's no issue there for me.
Power corrupts. Oh God, here we go. You know, guys, I gotta sort of kind of do an interview here. You guys don't want to just see a bunch of randomness, do you?
Randomness works. You know, I'll roll with whatever. So in all seriousness, like wherever you want to start, whatever you want to talk about, we'll make a conversation out of
it. Jules, wait, I knew the game. I didn't know we were playing a game. Okay. So Jules, the game is, my little guest here is nicknamed the Ultramel.
Master Ultramel.
Master Ultramel.
That's three.
Damn. Okay. He's the master U word. I'll let him tell that story, but I ran with it. And every time he says the U word in Zoom calls, on lives, whatever, we take a drink. Obviously of water, because this is YouTube. We drink water on YouTube. So anytime him or I say the U word, which is a morph that rhymes with caramel.
It doesn't really rhyme, but it rhymes with like Multramel. There was an M on there, you guys. It doesn't count.
Yeah. We have to take a drink of our water that's in my Deadpool cup. It's water.
So the whole nickname thing is still, I'm still a little bit uncomfortable about it, because there's people in like just within the United States, let alone globally, that are doing a lot more with the Eugene than what I am doing. And have been doing so for years and years and years. I mean, I'm nothing. I say it all the time. Nothing that I'm doing here is super unique, with the exception of what I'll talk about with this girl and her brother, which they are world's first animals. But yeah, so it's definitely weird for me. But I took it as a major compliment. So for those that don't know, so in that nickname was given to me by Cusco, Brian Cusco, originally as kind of a joke, like originally as a little bit of a jab at me. Because I literally, and I talk about it seriously. Like people think that I'm kidding, But I really ask anyone who will listen, anyone that's in the ball python hobby, anyone that's above me in the hobby, especially, I will always ask them any chance I get about the Ultramel gene.
Oh.
And the reason that I do that is really initially it was just genuine curiosity. Like, hey, you've been doing this for longer than me. How do you feel about it? And it was mostly because like it was a little bit of insecurity on my part of like I'm looking for confirmation on this project that I'm so passionate about, because I love the gene. I've loved it since the first time I saw it. I think the first person who really talked about it, that got me excited, was Gavin from Balls to You. But beyond that, like I said, it was also, on the flip side, it was a little bit of like a selfish question of like, hey, if you're working it, what direction are you headed in? So it's just me keeping tabs on the project. But it very quickly became like the running joke in Cusco's Discord that like, oh, Zach's gonna ask about Ultramel. So literally like every Cusco Zoom call that we do now with our guests after the lives, he's like, all right, Zach, you're first up. Let's just get it out of the way. Go ahead and ask the question. And he's like forcing me to ask it now, even to people that aren't involved. Like Clint last night. Literally, he was like, I'm not familiar with it, but Clint is such a nice guy that literally I was the first person to ask him a question. He took like 5 minutes to look it up on his phone and like look at a few examples and then give me a legitimate response to my question of like, I like this, I don't like that. And I can't say how much I appreciated that. And so we could roll into that if you want, talking about Clint.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anybody doesn't know who Clint is, Clint's Reptiles, he's the guy that does, like which blank is the pet reptile.
Yeah, but he does it from a super educated standpoint, because he was a professor, right?
He is a professor.
That's right. He's still doing it. That's correct.
Yeah. Yes, he has a PhD in biology. I'm pretty sure. I think that's what it is. Aurora in the comments can correct me. But yeah, like he's one of those guys that when I'm into the hobby, and as I'm learning about stuff, I'm watching him.
Yeah.
I'm watching something. I type in like automatically now. I go see if Clint's done a video.
Yes, because he's so well presented with his stuff. He does a ton of, again, he takes a very, obviously he takes an educational standpoint to everything that he presents. And
but
in
the
sense that
talk down to you.
Correct. Exactly. And again, I'll use me talking about Ultramel with him as a really good example, because he takes that approach to literally everything in his life. So I presented him with a question with which he had no basis, right? He had no information to base it on. And he literally told me, he's like, I'm not familiar with it. And I was about to cut him off and just be like, you know what, man? Don't even worry about it. The only reason I'm even asking is because Cusco's kind of forcing me to ask you that question, And before I could even say anything, he's like, let me research it. And so again, if he's willing to dive that deep into it for just a simple question that's being asked of him, imagine the level of research that he does prior to making a YouTube video or while making a YouTube video.
Oh,
and so I have a ton of respect for him in that sense, because there's so much bad information out there from people who unfortunately have even gained some pretty big names in the hobby, i.e., Hardwick, but we won't talk about that. I think Billy from Mutation Creation does enough of that for us. But yeah, there's just a lot of bad info out there, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are buying into some people that don't necessarily know what they're talking about. So Clint is super refreshing for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely adore him. And if what happens that might happen, I'm going to poop my pants.
What, Dave Kaufman's going to show up in the comments on here, or what?
Okay, no, that's not cool. That's not cool. I don't even think Cusco knows we're live right now, so that's fine.
Everybody's trying to get me into.
Yeah. But I was going to keep it secret. But guys, yeah, there may be a small chance that Clint from Clint's Reptiles will be coming onto the podcast.
I would say it's a pretty good chance. I mean, he seemed genuinely interested in it, which is awesome.
He was like jumping.
It's huge. Yeah. Well, and he said himself that, obviously he gets a ton of requests for stuff like that, but the difference is, and I tell people this all the time when I'm talking about just how to build yourself up in the hobby. Not that I'm anybody. I always tell people I'm a nobody, but I do have a good relationship with a lot of the people that I was hoping to have good relationships with, like people that I never thought I would even talk to, know my name. And that's a great feeling. But that comes from just actually reaching out and having like putting yourself in a position to have a face-to-face conversation. And that's basically what he said to you. Like, hey, now that we've actually spoken and I actually know who the hell you are, I'm more than willing to come on your show. And that's great. And I love that about this hobby. Everyone is so accessible. You just have to go about it in the right way. And that's just great.
I'm going to say, though, I did not ask. It wasn't me. I was not going to ask. Lovely Lance Kirkman.
Thank you, Chris. That means a lot to me, man, because you're one of my favorites in the hobby. So I appreciate you, brother. Seriously.
Zach is the blank master. Don't feel nice try.
Ultramel, and you guys know how long we've been on this video. I'm going to finish this. That didn't take very long.
Yeah, I'm halfway down here, but yeah. So I'm just like, so I did send him the email. I said I wasn't going to. Clint said specifically, send me an email. Yeah. Michelle, who is Clint's wife, is going to get it. Say, I was on the Zoom call with Clint. Clint said to send the email. And then I added, I would think it'd be totally stinking rad if he was on. But I would laugh if that's him right now because an email just popped in.
Check it. I want you to check it live because I want you to see it. And I want to see your reaction if that's the case.
No.
It's probably spam. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would have been amazing. That would have been truly amazing. And I believe in stuff like that. I'm telling you, like I've asked John Feely. I believe in like energy and like what you put out, you kind of get back. And like John Feely, bringing him up. He's awesome. He's down in the comments right now. He and I were talking about my first babies that hatched, right? And on his live, when I did his live, and literally we finished the live, we were talking about how it went, and he FaceTimed me. So we're talking to each other on video call afterwards, like as if we hadn't already just talked for an hour and a half. Anyways, and he's going to check his tubs, and he finds his first ever eggs while he and I were talking. And so it was like the most amazing moment to share with him, to see his face, see his reaction, and just like that excitement. Because again, just a couple months prior, I had experienced the exact same thing. Like I found my first ever eggs live with you guys on Brian Cusco's live, and so it's just funny how things kind of come full circle like that.
Was that the Het Ultramel clutch?
Yes. So that clutch was, again, this is my first ever clutch. This is my first year actually breeding. I've been raising
Ultramel.
Yes, of Het Ultramel.
You're welcome, Chad.
That should count as two. Yeah, sorry, it took me a second to catch on. I feel like you threw the second one in there as a reminder, as a prod. Yeah. But no, so it was a Mojave Ultramel that was actually, so the really cool thing, and I say this all the time, and I almost feel like I'm bragging about it, but I'm not. It's exciting to me. So my male came from Justin Kabilka as a proven breeder. So I've actually seen Justin has animals now. He's got eggs now from like that are literally grandbabies of the male that I'm using. Jules, thank you so much for the follow. As soon as I get off here, I promise I will follow you back if I'm not already.
I'll remind him.
Yeah, no, and I'll see it. Like for anybody that doesn't know, like seriously, I check my stuff religiously as much as I possibly can. If I don't get back to somebody, like you can ask my friends. Like I feel absolutely terrible. So trust me, I will do my best to get back to everyone. But yeah, so it's really cool to have that male, just because, like I said, it's neat to have a piece of that. Like I consider it a piece of history, because just the collection that came from it, and the fact that those babies from him are in one of the greatest collections in the world. But anyway, so it was a Mojave Ultramel, so visual Mojave, visual Eugene. I think I owe you guys two.
Yeah. For anybody that just popped in now, we're playing what's called the Ultramel game. Anytime, it's the wrong way. This guy over here says the U word, or me, we have to take a drink of our water.
Yeah, Marvel. I think I just caught up on it. I think I just caught up on the two. So, so it was that animal bred to a trick. So I had a shot at Bazinga balls, which is apparently the slang term for a Mojave trick. And obviously everything out of that clutch is going to be 100% Hell Ultramel. Actually, I can grab, I'll grab one of those out. I honestly, the more that I look at them, I was starting to think that this was just a Mojave. But hopefully this comes out on camera. Where's it at? This thing has the craziest like chain link pattern. Do you see that?
Is there HRA in there?
No, so this is literally just Mojave and Trick. But you see that chain link pattern up by the head? I think this is a Mojave Trick. I don't think this is just a Mojave. I initially thought this animal might have just been a Mojave.
No, that's Mojave Trick.
Yeah, and so I'll show you the second one. And also I did try. I had not until earlier this evening tried to sex these animals. But I'm pretty sure they're so tiny, and so I'm like trying to be super gentle. I'm pretty sure both of these are Mojave Tricks, and I'm pretty sure both of them are actually females. So
apparently we missed a U word. Ooh, I like that.
But again, I don't know if this is just a Mojave because I have seen this pattern on Mojaves before. So you guys let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are.
Actually, Chad at Richie's Recessive, he has Trick. So he might be able to help you.
Yeah, sure. And again, because I haven't sent pictures of these guys out to anybody else that's super into Trick. And Trick is a little funky, at least with Mojave, because I know that Mojave can affect the pattern in weird ways. But that first one, I definitely am confident that it's a Mojave Trick. That second one is the one that I kind of have some questions about. But my odds were really good. I literally, I think I only hit one normal out of 6
Bradley. Bradley's here.
Bradley, what's up, brother? I'm not even going to say that word. I think I already owe you guys though.
Yeah, you owe them one.
Hang on.
Paul Taylor, Chad turns Trick. Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Oh, hey, I wanted to do a quick shout out just for somebody in the hobby that I've been talking to the last couple of days. His name is Jose Gallo. For anybody that doesn't know Jose, like he is one of I was lucky enough to meet him in Arlington. He's actually the one. If you guys have seen the shirts of Miguel with Michael Jordan's crying face on them over having missed the odds on his clutch, Jose's the one that made those shirts and donated them to the U.S. ARC auction. Jose's a great guy. He's just a super positive guy, and he's hearing impaired. He just recently had another operation to try to regain some hearing back with I think some implants. I'm Jose. I apologize if I'm like completely screwing up what I'm talking about here with regards to that stuff. But he's just a super inspirational person to me, and he's a real asset to the hobby. So like I said, I told him earlier that I wanted to give him a shout out today because he's been heavy on my mind with his operation, because I guess it's not always 100% successful. It takes some time before they kind of know whether it's going to work, and so there's just a lot of recovery that's involved in terms of like he's going to go through some headaches and some things in terms of his brain actually adjusting to what's going on. So again, like I said, I just wanted to throw it out that for everybody kind of have their thoughts, and again, if you've not heard of him, literally jump on Instagram. He's seriously like the most positive guy that I think I've met in the hobby. So
speaking of hospital, did you see who got out today?
I did, and that was the next shout out that I wanted to do. I didn't want to do 2 back to back, but Nathan Katz, again, one of my other like just really close friends in the hobby, and I feel like I almost overly use that because like I love guys like Chris Sexton's one of my favorite people. Marshall is one of my favorite people. Like I have so many people that are some of my favorites. Kathleen, she's okay. But there's just so many good people that I've met through this hobby. But yeah, Nathan. So Nathan and I have a real connection now because I have a spinal fusion. My spinal fusion is like basically the full length of my back. Nathan, I think, had like 3 vertebrae fused. But anyways, it's not a minor surgery. Like you're talking about drilling. So you're talking about drilling screws into your spine and having rods and stuff. So Nathan had that done literally yesterday. Literally yesterday, he had surgery on his spine, and then within a few hours was able to tune in on Cusco's Live and his Zoom call from the hospital. And then he was in on Garrett's Live tonight, and not only that, so they didn't think he'd be able to go home until Friday. They released him today. So he is already back at home in his own bed, hanging out with his wonderful girlfriend who's doing a great job taking care of him. And just, it's just, again, it's just, like I said, same thing. He and Jose both are friends that I've made specifically just through this hobby, that are people that I care enough about where, when stuff like that was going on with them, that it was weighing on my mind throughout the day. They're really, really good people. And like I said, I think that's my favorite part about this hobby has just been all the wonderful people that I've met, yourself included.
I guess
it's just a good place to be. It is. It's a family. I love it.
Jose's in the chat, so I just threw up his Instagram handle, so everybody go give him a follow.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like in all seriousness, like follow him because he's not 100% sure if he's gonna be able to travel this year with everything he's got going on with the operation plus COVID. So seriously, like give him a follow. I'm not kidding. He's got some amazing animals. He's doing some crazy things for the hobby. Just the energy that he brings to the hobby alone is invaluable. But on top of that, he's got some really amazing projects that he's working, and he's super, super passionate. So he's got a lot going for him. He's going to go far.
All right. Since you're shouting everybody else out, let's start shouting you out. Since that's the whole point of being on here.
I can't help it.
You had your first clutch.
I did. I had my first ever clutch, and we did talk about that just briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm just plugging my laptop into power.
Which I love because it wasn't in a fancy incubator. It was in a DIY incubator, which is awesome.
This funky big freaking giant cooler that you see right over here behind me.
That's gonna be me this year because I'm poor. I bought too many snakes.
Yeah, well, and so it's interesting about that because sorry, hang on. I apologize. I'm having to shift some electronics around. So the interesting thing about that, so I 100% credit Marshall with my success for that incubator because so that incubator setup, I got the idea from Garrett, who's not the originator of it by any means, but it's a cooler. It's literally an igloo, 120 hour. I don't even know. It's a giant freaking igloo cooler with water in the bottom of it and an aquarium heater. And a lot of people over the years have used those. I really like the concept of it. I don't like the footprint of it. So it's like a 6 foot wide cooler. So it takes up a lot of floor space and it does not have a lot of room for eggs, which is the frustrating part about it. But it works super, super well. So but it was very DIY. And so the thing is, so like I got those eggs. I didn't think that girl was going to lay. Matter of fact, I thought that I had 2 other females that I thought were going to go well before she did. And I was going to, when I found those eggs, I was going to pull her out to show her to you guys because we were talking about the trick gene on the Zoom call. Yeah. That's when I found them. But short version, what I was trying to say is that I didn't even have a thermostat for that incubator when I had eggs. So for the first 4 days that those eggs were in that incubator, my temps were roughly correct. They were I had a thermometer in there, constant so that I could monitor it. But I mean, I was working and doing other things. So they were actually a little bit warm for a number of days. But I reached out to.
You didn't have the aquarium heater with the built-in thermometer?
I did, but those are not always 100% dialed perfect, especially in terms of, so they'll get you within a few degrees in terms of your water temps, but obviously what we're monitoring is air temp.
Air temp.
In theory, it should be the same, right? But it's not always gonna be. So it's the same thing. Like this girl, it took me a while. Matter of fact, up until recently, her temps were fluctuating even with the radiant heat panel. And that's with a herp stat on there. I mean, I invest in quality products and do things the right way, but sometimes it's a matter of probe placement and the way that things are programmed to work together. So, so it was pretty dialed in. I mean, I did see some spikes up to 90 degrees in there, which probably wouldn't have been a problem, but they probably would have hatched a little early and they might've been a little small. But yeah, so like I said, I reached out to Marshall, who runs the exact same incubator, and he was able to walk me through exactly what his setup was, kind of what his thoughts were on like where the probe should be placed and things like that. And so again, I'm always going to credit other people for my success, but that's
which Marshall was it?
Marshall from Martial Law Morphs. What is Marshall's last name? I always forget it because I always want to call him Martial Law.
Marshall is Martial Law. Marshall, what's your last name?
Wait a minute. You guys told me it was going to be bourbon, not water.
I'm so freaking stoked that you're here right now, brother. I was just talking you up.
Oh.
That was the best timing.
Dude, that was freaking solid. What's up, Marshall? It's so freaking good to talk to you, man. Seriously, I was literally said, I'm sure you heard it. I was just talking you up, and I meant every word. Like
I credit you, and I took it.
Like between Marshall, Chris Sexton, Shane Kelly, like Garrett from Reach Out Reptiles, Brian Cusick, like there's so many people. If it wasn't for those guys, I would not have baby snakes in my rack right now.
Hey, no, it's always, I mean, especially when it comes to that incubator. I mean, I love promoting it because I think we even talked about it. I think we did. It's a far better method, but not the most efficient method.
1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, because you have a whole entire incubator that is an egg box. Yep, exactly. You have a whole entire
Ultramel. This is not going to be a serious one.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you have a whole entire incubator that's your egg box. But yeah, like he had mentioned before, the footprint on it is not very conducive for a lot of eggs. So
I don't have any. All I have is a lavender.
You're doing it wrong. No, I like lavender stuff.
I thought for sure if I was going to sneak in and interrupt an interview, I might as well be holding the proper equipment.
No, man, you're not interrupting anything. Seriously, I'm glad you're freaking here, man. Seriously, I'm not even kidding. I'm so stoked.
I had this plan.
She told me she had some surprises and some kind of like some left field stuff. But this is great. Like this is so entertaining. I'm loving it. I hope everybody in the chat is. I can't see that far. I guess I need to get my eyes checked. I can't see that far in the chat.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, I believe it, and I'm super stoked to see who comes in next. It's gonna be great.
I mean, I was gonna wait for a Q, but we may as well bring him on and start the party.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's your cue, John Feely.
Feely's clutch. Where you at, brother?
You guys can't see him yet, but I can.
You got lost over.
And that's another one of those like this is why we're friends moments.
If people aren't aware, Zach had a really rough week, so he had a clutch. He's having a hard time with baby ball pythons being baby ball pythons. So the first thing I did, I casually was just talking to John Feely today at a randomness. I'm like, dude, do you want to come crash my podcast? It was Zach, and then I'm like,
crash anything.
And I'm like, let's get Marshall in on this too.
Hell yeah! No, this is like the greatest freaking podcast ever. Like surprise guests. Like who does that? This is freaking awesome. I love it. It's literally it's like the only other time I can remember being this excited is like a surprise birthday party. Like that's the best. When all your friends show up and you weren't expecting anybody to be there. Like that's how I feel right now. This is amazing.
I'm the Oprah of the herp world.
I'm saying, like, it's just good stuff. This is great. Super well thought out. I'm really am. I'm very impressed.
You get a surprise.
You get an Ultramel. You get an Ultramel.
Be careful. Damn. Be careful. All right. Well, I guess I got to finish this water now.
Yeah. Jules, they keep multiplying.
Bourbon was the wrong choice tonight.
How many was it?
Oh, good God. I don't know if it was 2 or 3, but I just finished that, so I think it counts.
No, this is also going to be an experiment for me.
I've taken 2, and my beer's gone. So
yeah, John, trust me. Welcome to my freaking world, man. Oh, but Marshall, you'll appreciate this. I'll tell you. So my favorite guy at my new job is a former Marine, and he's like the freaking nicest guy I've ever worked with. I'm not gonna lie, but he's also like one of the hardest workers. He's super good at training me. Like, good dude, man.
Yeah.
And you and John both know, like, I appreciate the hell out of anybody that's military. Like, I've got long military history in my family and stuff like that. But yeah, good folks.
Yeah, John, my significant other, he's actually retired military.
He's not a crayon eater like Marshall, right?
John, no, and I'll tell you.
Tell me he was smarter.
He was actually in engineering for a while and then went to infantry. Oh, backwards, sorry. He's yelling at me. He was in infantry and then went to engineering.
I was going to say, was he in engineering? And then they were like,
was he a Mountie?
Kind of stupid.
No, he wasn't.
No, and again, I only speak that just because I'm like, I know that's a backwards move. Yeah, no. So I have a sister. I have a sister who went Marines. I have an aunt who was a Marine. But I also have an uncle who was Army. My grandfather was Army. Who else? There's a bunch. I come from a long history of military family. So
my mother-in-law right now is stationed across the country from us, and because of restrictions may not be able to come home for Christmas.
Yeah.
And it sucks because we had a baby end of February, right a week before the world shut down. And then she got stationed not too long after that.
Dang.
Yeah. So it kind of sucks. But, let's do the fun shout out. Rebecca Van, I'm not going to say your last name. You know I'll never say your last name, but she's up to 93 followers on IG. Woo!
Hell yeah, Rebecca. Rebecca, I will, I'm not saying this as a shameless plug. If you'll follow me, I will make sure to follow you. And the only reason I say it that way is because I don't know that I'll remember to be able to like type in your whole thing. Actually,
it wasn't shameless. That was a pure shameful plug.
Please take here. I'll do you one better. Don't follow me. I will try to follow you right now while we're live.
Also follow Ultramel ball pythons.
Oh, all right. God damn it.
Oh yeah. Follow that page too.
on IG because he controls that page.
I don't know who owns that page or like decided that was a good idea to have that page name, but somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. Rebecca Van what? Where's it at? There it is. Rebecca Van
Kuenberg.
All right. Well, I'm typing your name
shocking,
in on Instagram.
She's shocking exotic reptiles. Everybody go
That's
give her a follow.
See, look at that.
Let's go see if we can get her to 100 by the end of the podcast.
I see no reason why she shouldn't. She's already she's at 93. Absolutely. There's just 7 more.
I can't do it. I'm using my phone right now.
Hang on. I got two accounts. Let's do this. All right. So
you have a reptile business. Buy a fucking computer, guy.
I know.
Are you talking about me?
No, me.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, Jesus, I'm streaming on my computer. I've got one cell phone right here. I've got a second cell phone over there that I use just for my reptile stuff. Come on.
No, the last ones I've done on the laptop tonight was sort of kind of impromptu. So my daughter's got the laptop doing her homework. So I lost out on that one. Yeah, I know.
Likely.
All right, shocking exotics. You're at 90. You're at 97 according to my phone right now. That's what they're following you on both accounts that I have.
Log on for me, John.
Send me your info.
I want to see some comments down below if you guys actually like the multi-roundtable thing, because we're going to use Dax Breeder's series as an experiment. Sorry, buddy.
No, I love it. No, I'm not. So again, John can attest to this. I spent, I think, like 50% of the time that he and I were live on his channel promoting other people. The same way that I already have for most of yours. Like, talking about just, like I said, Jose. I love fucking Jose. He's a great guy. Nathan Katz. Like and it's not something I do consciously. It's just something that I genuinely feel like anytime I'm talking, I'm not ever bullshitting people. All I ever want to do is just talk about the people that have gotten me to where I'm at. That's what makes me happy. That's what excites me. And that's why, like I said, I promote the hell out of my friends. I joke all the time that I'm the best hype man ever. Cause I genuinely enjoy talking up other people. It's
with
good.
that,
so
though,
this is perfect.
But you're only the world's greatest hype man if you get a giant clock on your on.
Hold on.
You're right. I do need to correct that. I got to come correct. There you go. I don't have one within reach, but I can make it happen.
Yeah.
People have analog clocks. What?
Yeah. There's one. I got one in my kitchen. It's great.
But I'm just the world's biggest hype man for Zach.
Yeah.
I gotta get better about other people.
And I think we all are. I know I've brought Zach up a lot on this podcast in general.
And I appreciate that. In all seriousness, like, it always, again, I use the word validating a lot, but it is true where I never ask anyone for anything. And I mean that. I generally don't. I never do anything that I do with the intentions of seeking attention from anyone else or having somebody talk me up. So when it does happen, it's that much more, like I said, just validating, like when I'm in the comments on Billy's podcast that has, 200 people watching and who knows how many thousands of people are going to watch it. And Billy brings me up 5 times on the podcast, like, oh, it's Master Ultramel. I'm like, I'm like red in the face and like embarrassed and like, like halfway wanting to cry, like not knowing how to feel. But again, it's mostly just because I'm like, everything that I am doing is I'm on the right path. And same thing that goes with these friendships that I've built, like with guys like, again, Marshall and John and Chris Sexton's, like, again, is I bring him up all the time because he won't ever bring himself up. He's way worse than I am in terms of promoting himself. He's like one of the greatest guys in the hobby, and he never talks about himself. And so I talk about him every chance that I get. But that's one of my favorite things about this hobby is again, just the friendships that I've made and the people that I know, and so that's why I talk about them all the time. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's all right. I mean, I genuinely dislike all of you. It's just you give me all a good reason to drink. So, I mean, here I am.
Ultramel.
Ultramel. That's 2.
No, it's so funny because I completely understand where you're coming from, Zach, because I'm new. I haven't even had my first clutch yet.
Yeah.
I'm still out here deciding what I'm pairing and, throwing a couple things together and seeing if they're going to lock.
Yeah.
But like last night, John and Marshall and Zach were all there. They can attest to my reaction when somebody asked Clint to come on my podcast, and it was not a good one.
But I'll tell you. So again, that's
genuine deer in the headlights. Yeah.
Oh,
it speaks to a couple different things.
And he shall appear.
Hey, Chris Sexton, what's up, brother?
I don't think this is working.
I'm so freaking glad you're here, brother. I know you had a rough couple of, or at least a rough yesterday. So, like I said, same thing. Again, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I do. I think about all you guys on a daily basis in terms of anybody that's going through any kind of struggle, or just dealing with anything in their life. And I'm not going to go into details, but again, I appreciate you, Chris, and I hope you're.
Just don't be thinking about me while you're sleeping. All right.
It's not while he's sleeping,
and we're good.
In the shower.
I was gonna say that's when I'm sleeping and you're good, but if I'm awake and I'm thinking about you, you got problems.
That one was just random. You kept saying Christopher's name over, so I just messaged him and set the link and said join now.
For sure, absolutely. No, like, and also, I mean, you guys know, I thrive in large groups. Obviously, for those that don't know, I was a bartender for about 3 years, and so. My favorite thing is to talk to people. And I didn't know that when I started bartending, for the record. Like, I was a mechanic for a long time. And so I was not a person that was like customer facing. I was not a person that was like very social. I was not some social butterfly like when I was in school. But the older that I've gotten, the more that I've realized, like, I just genuinely love people. I love to talk to people. whether that's me talking at them, as I probably often do to many of you. But I do. I love interacting with people. I love hearing people's stories. I love getting to know people. You know, kind of, I don't know. There's just something about that it just comes naturally to me. So, no, this is a blast. I'm super stoked to have everybody here.
Yeah, but just remember, while you're busy hyping everybody else up, you need to be hyping yourself up too.
Well, I mean, if you guys want me to go into that, I can, but I'd rather, like, let's get Chris on. Like, Chris just came in, John just came in. Like, what do you guys got going on? I don't know.
Last time I checked, this is supposed to be your interview.
Right.
I know Kathleen's getting a little crazy. Yeah, that's cool. I'm all for fun, but
yeah.
A lot of us are to hear about Zach.
So quickly, then, while we're talking about it, so then in that case, I'll kind of dive deep into what I have going on personally. So, I've been growing my Instagram following for the last basis since COVID started. I was like, when COVID started, I think I had 100 followers. I'm at 460 something now, which is great. And again, I tell people all the time that's mostly just because I'm just trying to build community. You know, it just comes from me interacting with people, whether it's through stuff like this or in the comments. You know, I hate that hashtags are turned off because I can't go and comment on hashtag Ultramel every chance that I get, because that literally used to be a daily ritual for me. I would go and comment on, 10 or 20 recent posts that had that hashtag on them. Cheers, everybody.
I'm out of alcohol. You're all on your own. I have some real water.
There you go. That'll work, Chris. We'll count it.
John's already dropped F-bombs, so it's not water anymore.
Well, John made the mistake of starting out with bourbon, so that
that was Marshall. I'm not drinking the heavy.
Oh, excuse me. I apologize. I mixed you guys up. See, apparently I've had too much. I guess too much water.
I am not a Marine. Don't associate me.
I would never. But no.
Back to yourself, crazy.
Yes. So back to me. So again, this is my first year breeding ball pythons. I have a lot of exciting stuff going on that I really don't talk enough about, and I will admit that. So literally, I'll dive into this girl. So for anyone and everyone that's into reticulated pythons, I have always loved retics, like from the time that I've ever seen the first one. But I also personally felt like I can never keep that. They get way too big. And so when I found out about dwarves and super dwarves, I was like, okay, that sounds really freaking cool. But when I Googled it, and keep in mind, this was only like 4 years ago, I think, that I started looking into them. 90% of the information that I found was like, oh, dwarves and super dwarves, it's all a lie. They're fake. They don't exist. It's not a real thing, blah, blah, blah. But again, my love for reticulated pythons forced, and just my obsession with just information forced me to push past that. And so I kept digging, and I found Garrett from Reach Out Reptiles, who now I can say is like a close friend of mine. And that means so much to me to say, like, if you'd have told me a few years ago that I would one day be good friends with somebody like Garrett, I wouldn't have believed you, and I would have told you were crazy. But anyway, so this girl that's right behind me, and I have her brother as well. They are the only pair of, they're both 50% Solaire dwarves. They are both visual tigers, and they're both 100% het for Rennet Ghost. For those that are not familiar with Rennet Ghost, obviously it was based on the name, is a project that was started by Ben Rennick, rest in peace, who was, I'm not even going to get into that because it'll just upset me and send me down another road. But Ben Rennick was lost to us, and lost to the hobby, and lost to the world. But he is the one that brought in the first Rennet Ghost albino retic. And I have a shot within the next year of producing the first ever visual Rennet Ghosts in dwarf reticulated pythons.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, I don't talk about it a lot, and I guess it's just in my nature not to talk about myself and what I have going on. And the other part is like, I've had them for like 3 years now. Like they're going on. They're almost 2.5. They'll be 3 or they're 2.5. They'll be 3 in February. I don't get excited and while I'm just like feeding them and interacting with them every day for whatever reason. Because I'm like, oh, nobody cares about these guys. But they're a big deal. They're a very big deal. The day that I have eggs from this female that's right behind me, like again, I just got my first eggs from ball pythons this year, and I was very excited about that. All these guys that are on here can attest to that because most of them were with me when I found those eggs, and they probably could see how red my face was and just like how much I was trying not to jump up and down and lose my mind. And
what
all
was
these
the
guys
pairing again for those eggs.
The pairing for those eggs was a visual Mojave Ultramel.
John's just keeping the bottle to his lips. He's not even playing anymore.
And it was a visual that visual male and that was again from Justin Kabelka to a lease in line trick. And my odds were really, really good. Based on what I'm seeing, I think I have 5 out of 6 I think are tricks. I think I only have 1 normal. I'm gonna have to
Bartender!
maybe for the record, don't ever do that at the bar because it will put you last. It will put you last in line to get served. Don't snap your fingers. Don't shout bartender. The best thing you can do is try to lock eyes with the bartender. And eye contact, I'll get to you every time, 100%. I'll get to you every time because it tells me how patient you are. Honestly, even that, John, I don't know. It depends. If you make it very clear that the money is mine to have, I'm going to come see you. Well, and what I tell people all the time is like the way you order for your first round dictates how I take care of you after the fact. And that's every bartender ever. So like if you tip heavy the first time around, like, you'll be good. Favorite drink to make. Honestly, like I don't really have a favorite. Again, like I think for me, most of the joy came from interacting with people, first of all. And second of all, it came from like, I love like high pressure, high pace environment. So when I'm super busy, like I've done a $13,000 day by myself, which is a lot in the state of North Carolina for alcohol, like by myself, only bartender, 13 grand. That was a freaking blast because I was literally nonstop, just like, I'm pointing at you. I want your drink order. If you don't have it on the tip of your tongue, I'm moving on to the next person. I enjoyed that more than anything. And but beyond that, I'll make anything. I really don't care what you want to order. I'll say there are least favorite things. So like if you order like lemon drops, bartenders hate you because they're a pain in the butt because you got to sugar rim. Like it's a process. So I always just tell people like be aware of the bar you're in. If it's a super busy bar, maybe don't order those. Don't order like, oh, I want 1 shot of this, 1 shot of that, 1 shot of this, 1 shot of that. Don't do that. But like I said, I don't have a favorite thing to make. I love to make everything because I love to serve people. I love to interact with people. It's just fun.
You should run with this whole master thing and bartender thing and come up with the Ultramel drink.
Oh, I could definitely make that happen for sure. Matter of fact, now that you mentioned it, I will do that. I will when we get off here tonight, I will think up something that's orange and the best of the best of the best, as Ultramel is the best of the best of the best. and I'll put it out there publicly so that people can recreate it.
And if people are wondering what Ultramel is, actually I stole the Zach's picture of his Ultramel and used it as the thumbnail. With the little crown on it.
Yeah, so it's Ultramel is basically it's like a T positive albino, essentially.
Guys, I'm sorry. I appreciate the invite on, but I have to go change my son's diaper. I'll be in the comments. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for popping in, Chris.
Seriously, I freaking love you. Legitimately, I love you. Love you. Love you. Have a good night, dude.
All right, don't be dreaming.
No promises. I hope you heard that.
I'm sure you heard it.
Chris is just he's good people, man. He really is.
Oh yeah, good people.
Uh-oh.
John, how are your eggs doing? By the way, I know are they still being incubated elsewhere?
So I'm verifying that my new incubator will maintain the temperature that I want. I should be picking them up in the next day or two. The issue is we had a weather drop here. It's like under 30 degrees right now. So I am not moving my eggs until we get out of this cold front.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I thought I remembered that because obviously I know you were stressed about having to basically like transport them to somebody else's incubator, get them put in, and then leave them there. But I figured you wouldn't try to do that a second time, especially this late in the incubation. Like just leave them there.
It's 10 minutes away. It's not a big deal.
Sure,
I'm gonna be able to maintain heat, but it's
why risk it?
Right now, even during the day, like today, it was only 45 degrees. So that 45 degrees, that 10-second walk from the incubator out to the truck that I'm going to have heated at 88 degrees before I bring them out, it's
not even worth it. Yeah. No. And that's why I was asking. It was mostly just for me to confirm that I kind of knew what was going on.
I'm not ruining my first clutch ever. To be idiotic.
Hey man, trust me.
All the UK and Canadian people, 45 Fahrenheit is 7 degrees Celsius. I just had to Google it.
Yeah, I apologize to anybody I'm not getting back to in the comments, by the way, because I'm doing my best. But
time that Texas has been colder than North Dakota. We were at 50 degrees today. So,
Wolf Guys Jojo.
That is some 2020 crap going on right now.
Where's the darn super
no, you're not wrong, man. Because I'll tell you, it was like 27 degrees here this morning. So obviously I was wearing a jacket. I had to heat up my car before I left. And then by this afternoon when I was working, I was walking around outside with no jacket on. It was like 60 something degrees, like beautiful. And I'm like, this is just ridiculous, but that's every day lately. And this is North Carolina. I mean, I'm in the Southeast, like.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you because I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have lots and lots and lots and lots of snow.
No. I'm good. I don't want to keep all that shit up
you
north.
Can keep it. You can absolutely keep every bit of that.
I'm just going to answer this one question real quick. Wolf Guys Jojo wants to know, where's the darn super chat? So to get super chat, you need to have a monetized account. To get a monetized account, and John knows this, you need 1,000 subscribers at least, and you need 4,400 hours viewed on YouTube.
I think it's just 4,000.
4,000.
Oh, is it 4,000? I was told
4,000. Still, but you'll get there quick. The more of these we do, the more of these you do. Excuse me.
Yeah. Before I came on this, I was at like 8.6 thousand, or at what was it? 8,600 and some odd minutes viewed.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks.
And that's what I say. You'll the watch
massive,
time,
dude.
Yeah.
Well, and John,
we're trying over here.
Yeah, John, Kathleen is where I was telling you, like, it made it very clear to me, not that I didn't already know, but it made it very clear to me that watch time is going to be tremendously impacted by these lives, which is great. Like, you're doing a freaking killer job. And I love these. I absolutely love, like, literally, I said, I was having this conversation with John earlier today. I was super excited to do this because, like, I think my first one was with Antoine of High Desert, which was like, blew my mind that he was even interested to talk to me, because he's doing some huge things. So again, just another shout out, Antoine Hood.
Yeah,
High Desert Python.
Antoine, if you see this, get at me. I want you on here.
Honestly,
back to Zach.
I can text him. I'll text him tomorrow if you want me to, and see if he wants to do it, which I'm sure he's totally down. He's a super good guy. He's like, again, I say it all the time. He's one of my favorite people in the hobby, but he really is. He's just a nice guy.
You and watch time.
Yeah. So my intention is, so I've got a couple things going on. So every Friday night, I've been doing a live with Bradley from Raptor on Reptiles, which I don't know if he's still in the chat, but he was earlier. We're going to transition that. I'm hoping this week we're going to transition that over to YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Yeah. And my intention is to actually start my own podcast as well on my own channel. I've been talking about doing it basically since my channel started. And for anybody that, obviously, you guys know I can gab, I can talk. I've had people ask me, like,
my question is, are you guys going to keep that on Friday night?
Yes, that's the intention right now. you have qualms about that? And I only ask because I'm just genuinely curious.
Fridays are not especially a great night for me. I have still yet to catch, like, I've been able to tune in for the first couple minutes,
sure,
and then I'm usually busy on Friday night.
So, yeah, sure. And so I think our plan, which we don't really have much of a plan, but that was just what worked for us initially. Obviously, my work schedule has changed because, again, when I was bartending, my schedule was weird. So that just happened to be kind of where we started out. We may transition to another day or whatever. We're gonna adjust to kind of where the audience is. He and I both are kind of on the same page in terms of like, okay, hey, like Fridays just worked because it's like nobody else is doing a live, but it's also like, okay, well, nobody else is doing a live because it's Friday and it doesn't work for anybody, so it's a little bit twofold. So yeah, we may adjust that just based on feedback. So I'll definitely keep that in mind. As far as mine, I don't know when I'll do mine with people. And I may also, this is like me on the personal side outside of the reptile thing. I may also be starting a podcast that's not necessarily reptile related, because I've had people outside of the reptile hobby actually asking like, hey, do you have a podcast? Like, we have great conversations all the time. Like, and so I feel like I not toot my own horn, but I do feel like I have a strength for talking to people. I know that I tend to take over conversations often, but I feel like if I have guests, I'm more than capable of being respectful of those guests, as I have tried to be to you guys tonight. But none of you guys ever seem to want to hear yourselves talk. You just want to listen.
It's my show. I can do what I want. These are too.
You can. I don't know what's going on in the comments. I can assume there's something going on in the comments based on you guys' reaction.
No, not really. But I think that's great. I've been saying for a while that you and Bradley should move over to YouTube.
Oh yeah, he and I basically talked about that from the very get-go. It was just a matter of like figuring out whether we wanted to do like StreamYard like you're doing, or I can't remember what the other one is that Cusco uses. OBS, yeah. But yeah, we're not. I mean, I'm relatively technically inclined, but I don't have very much time, and so it was mostly just like StreamYard seems super easy. So that's what we're going to be using, I think.
Super easy.
Bradley actually messaged me earlier and said that he was playing around with it. He's already gone ahead and paid for it for our channel. So I would expect this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that you can catch us both.
So are you guys going to have your own channel for that, or are you going to do it on your channel? Like,
no, we've already talked about it. We're gonna everything in terms of with Bradley and I. Obviously, right now, everything has been done through his Instagram. That wasn't like a conscious thing. That was like a conscious decision that was made. It was just like convenient at the time. He asked me to do it, and so I did. But now, we've created an email address. I think we're gonna get a URL. And I'm gonna create a YouTube channel specifically for that. So it will be he and I together. On a totally separate channel. Yeah. Which it'll be interesting, just growing something from the start. So
one thing I'll tell you, and because I've been doing this since Friday the 13th, I've got a whole bunch of knowledge. It doesn't matter. Don't try to book around other people's podcasts.
Sure. No, I fully agree with that. And that's what I was saying in terms of my stuff. Like,
don't be like, well, I'm off this day and this day and this day. You can come on any day. Because then you're like Kathleen and you're doing 3 to 5 lives a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, he and I are super busy, and the reality is that we're very aware of like what pays our bills in terms of our work, and so it's like I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna try to spread myself thin, because I already do. Just in terms of like, you guys know, go ahead, Marshall.
Most importantly, book Marshall. Great guest. Got lots of things to say, lots of knowledge.
He's going to talk to you for an hour and a half on nothing but lace.
And can talk about lace for an hour and a half. Great guest.
To be clear, you didn't have to do that because all three of you guys that I'm on here right now with are on our list that we've already kind of got written down as to who we can kind of get on. It's mostly because
you want me?
Well, let me finish. Listen, let me finish. Bradley and I's discussion was like, all right, who's a bunch of nobodies that we can get to like be the guinea pigs for our channel? and you guys were the top 3 on the list. I'm like, yeah, these guys will fucking do anything.
Well played.
You're not wrong. I mean,
for the record, I'm kidding. I feel like I need to say that for historical accuracy, so that you guys can't come back later and be like, you remember that time you said that about me?
Exactly.
Pearson Strickers came up with a really good podcast name.
I saw it. Yeah. So what I'll tell you, and honestly, that was actually talked about. What I think we're gonna do is connected by creatures. Connected by creatures is gonna be our thing. Because again, just going back to it, like that's my whole thing. Like my passion for this hobby grew tenfold once I actually started talking about it on social media. And that's what introduced me to all of you guys here. That's what introduced me to everybody in these comments. It's what got me on this live. And that's what introduced me to Bradley. And same thing with him, like Bradley has a really good friendship with Brian Cusco and who's, a legend in this hobby. And it's just through just that love for these animals.
I can't even get Cusco on here.
And also, and again, he's a busy guy. Like and for the record, I'm sure that if you schedule it, he will make it happen. I promise you that he will.
Oh yeah. That's just his and my relationship. If we didn't poke at each other and roast each other, would that even be Kathleen and Cusco? Like,
well, that's everybody. If you're friends with Cusco, well, if you're friends with any of us on here in general, we're probably going to talk shit to you. that's the way.
I came into that Discord swinging.
100%. Well, and that's why we all got along. I think that numerous of us made the comment that like, okay, you're going to get along just fine here, because that literally that's the entire group is just all of us just trashing each other in the most joking manner most days.
If anybody's on the fence of joining, I hate giving this guy like advertising, but whatever.
Just fucking do it. I do it. I literally do it every day.
Just join Cusco's Patreon.
It's the best money I've ever spent in my life.
And tell him I sent you.
Don't do that. Tell him Zach sent you. It's fine. But moving on from that, Marshall, there was a request to see your world's first lace. Can you?
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering. Was it the blackhead lace or the blackhead lace phantom? Because
I think it was a blackhead phantom lace. Yeah.
Okay, because
or you could show both. Whatever.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, you conveniently happen to have it right there available.
I mean, if you want to see it, there's a
whole
there's a whole hour and a half you can go watch.
Because there's that one, and then there's
we're gonna be here for a couple hours now.
Oh, let me get started on lace.
You opened Pandora's box, Kathleen. This is your
fault. That wasn't me.
It was me. I'll own it. I will own it.
That was Marvel Balls UK.
Well, if someone would keep fucking Zach on the Ultramel gene, we'd be fine.
I can't help it, man.
Damn it!
You guys never said that it worked with me, so you took a drink of your own free will. That's not on.
It's fine. I mean, we didn't verbally acknowledge it, but
Todd said he pulled it in 0.1 seconds. Listen,
so I will. While he's showing that off,
ready to pull it off.
Yeah. Out. I will ready. I will promote myself a little bit. So again, this girl
about time
is another one that came from Justin Kabilka.
Oh yeah.
So she is a fire, yellow belly, spot nose, 100% het Ultramel. Mm-hmm. And Marshall, you've seen the pictures that I sent you. Based on those photos, you and Chris and a few others have told me she's got to be gravid, which is why I'm not going to mess with her too much.
Right.
She is still eating, but like she has gained so much weight And all of her behavior, I mean, she's been completely inverted in her tub, as I think I showed you in the pictures.
Bye, Chris.
Later, Chris. Thank you again, brother. Seriously, I love you, man. But yeah, she's been completely inverted in her tub. I mean, she's and she's refusing the mail. And matter of fact, a few weeks after you and I talked about that, I tried to pair the mail again, just to confirm. And she wanted nothing to do with him. I mean, absolutely nothing. Like, she pinned herself in the corner, did not want him around her. So to me, that girl's going to go. And so I think. Okay.
So Zach, here's my thing. If we're close on ovulation, now would be the most perfect time to try and practice palpating.
Okay.
If you don't have an ultrasound, so if she's close to ovulation or an ovulation, she's got about 30 millimeter follicles. Now is the best time to try to palpate, because once you get her going through your hands, try and take a paper towel, let her run through your fingers. You are most definitely going to feel those follicles. There will be no doubt about it at this point. If she's close, there's not going to be any doubt at this point.
Okay.
So now, honestly, would be the most perfect time to try to practice palpating.
Okay. I mean, I'll do it on camera if you guys want me to. I'm cool with that.
Once you get the hang of it, once you start to feel them the first couple of times, it seriously gets a little bit easier each time with every practice that you do with the palpating.
And I'll tell you what's funny about you mentioning putting a wet paper towel around her. So I used to work in automotive industry.
Yeah, dry paper towel.
Regardless.
Yeah.
To my point. So I used to work in the automotive industry, like I said, and an old school trick from a body guy that I was taught in terms of testing to see if a panel was totally flat, totally smooth after you've kind of filled it and done filler primer and the whole thing. He said, take either anything like a plastic bag, a paper towel, and rub it, like put it between on your hand, between your hand and the panel. He's like, for some reason, there's something about that allows you to pick up bumps a little easier. And so no, that makes perfect sense. So yeah, I mean, if you guys want, I'll go grab a paper towel right now and I'll let her kind of run through my hands. I might look like an idiot because I may feel nothing.
Here's something with that, Zach. Like, when you're doing it, and I don't have the best example or like the best explanation on it, but it's kind of like you're grabbing a beer bottle or a Coke can or something, right? And then with your fingertips, you're trying to put your hand indent.
Yeah, under the belly, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I can think of one example, but it's not.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the pressure you need to apply is like you're trying to indent that can.
Yeah, and
you're not trying to squeeze the can, but you're trying to indent that can.
And that's why I'm thinking that right now, if all the signs are right, and if she's where I think she might be, if she's around that 30 millimeter range, that's the best time to get a feel for it right now. Then, because
she's still eating. She's still eating right now, but she's big.
Thump.
Yeah. Okay. Hell, give me 2 seconds. I'll grab a dry paper towel and I'll move my camera around.
I had to check on mine because I have another, like, clutch number 2 is literally days from.
I'm watching. I'm learning.
Yeah. Clutch number 2 is days from being dropped right now. So I was like, if my girl fucking drops again on a live with Zach, like, I'm gonna put the little motherfucker in my pocket and he's never leaving.
I'm telling you.
Like, that's my good luck charm, man.
I was gonna say
nowhere.
Hell yeah. All right, let's see what we got.
I really hope you didn't hear that.
Oh no, he did.
All right, so
he'll see it on the playback.
See, I'm gonna have to do this stuff too. We just started pairing, so we managed to get a first lock between a male clown and a Mystic Crystal female.
Yeah.
So
all I can ever stress is, like, if you don't have, obviously you can go out and you can get an ultrasound, but if you don't have one, the for whatever reason, people kind of they're scared to palpate.
And I don't think they're scared to palpate, Marshall, as much as people are just we're coming up in a generation of people that just want a yes or no, and they don't rely on themselves as much. Right. And I'm part of that. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm definitely that person.
Because I would guarantee you, like for myself, like the first few times I palpated, I felt absolutely nothing. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. The only thing that I did do was I kept trying.
Sure.
I've tried a couple times.
After the very first time I felt some follicles, it was lights out after that. Then I had kind of an idea of what I was looking for from that point on. Yeah. So it was like just doing it repetition after repetition, you get a little bit better, and all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I got follicles there, or nope, nothing there.
Yeah. I tried a couple times and I thought I could feel like almost marble-sized bumps.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
but I also don't. I was doing it bare hand. I wasn't doing
for those watching again. So I'm going to attempt this now.
A little less resistance, so it's
and again. So no, that made perfect sense what you were saying, Marshall, in terms of that, because like I said, a body guy told me that about even then.
Zac attack.
Yeah.
What I would do is quit worrying about the camera being aimed at her tub, but place yourself where you can put her head in the tub, because that's going to make her want to crawl, and she's going to drop all her weight, because right now she's trying to hold her weight on you.
Right. She's tensed up. Okay.
Let her crawl into the tub. Exactly.
Yep. And then palpate her as she's crawling into the tub.
See, I used John in his shoulder, let the snake go over his shoulder, and then I was checking.
There she goes.
There you go.
Right about there.
Well, I got a big fart.
then you know you had some decent pressure there, but it should have been about that last half is when you should have started.
Right about there, you start feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like some big, like, ball-sized things in her for sure. Like, and that's literally the first time that I've felt that.
Those are those follicles. Now, if you can go back in your mind and kind of think, like, try to associate
size that up.
Size, associate those sizes to something, then you can get a rough estimate.
So for me, that was probably felt like.
Oh, Chad.
Yep.
19 years old. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are things that I can equate that do, but I'm I'm trying to stay.
Chad EAD.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say like probably like ping pong ball size.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
All right. So ping pong ball, like chicken egg size, from what I've been like, chicken egg size is going to be about 30 millimeters.
Right. And that's like she's good to go.
Smaller. Yeah.
30 there we go.
What's that? My wife is old.
Another way to kind of check it is just do that pairing again and see if there's any interest.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was talking about.
If she won't let him lock, then there's a possibility.
Because literally the last 2 times that I tried to put that male in, like immediately, not like a few minutes in, like immediately, she is running from him. Like does not, and again, keep in mind, this is a female and male that, when they paired and they locked, I mean, it was within like 15 minutes. I mean, they wasted no time. Yeah. And so for me, so when I'm putting him in now, she is running from him right away, wants nothing to do with him whatsoever. Now she is crushing food still, but she wants nothing to do with that male.
To be honest, that doesn't mean anything.
No, and that's exactly what I've talked about. Yeah, and that's what I've always used Shane Kelly as the example, because we all, most of us know, anybody that knows Shane Kelly knows that he had that snake that literally like ate right up until she laid her eggs, and she literally like laid eggs and pooped at the same time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, that's the part that I love about palpating is that it's a quick reference guide. Obviously your ultrasound is going to be the most definite, accurate answers, right? But now you have some sort of an idea of like, okay, she's got follicles that are roughly about this big, and she's stopped pairing.
Yeah.
So I know I'm getting close.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the palpating thing. And it's one thing that I wish more people would just kind of like keep in mind, that they can do that. Into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'll tell you, Marshall, I think a lot of the communication around palpating is negative in the sense that most people are like even Brian Barczyk, for example. When he talks about it, he's like, this is kind of something that you got to learn from someone else, and the reason that I bring that up is because for 98% of people in the hobby, they're not learning this from someone else in person. They're literally learning it from us on the internet, like from us literally right now, like this video, right? This video may later come up as, depending on how she tags it, this video may come up as like how to palpate, like, you know what I mean? So that's, I think, where a lot of the trepidation comes in for people in terms of doing that, because they're just super nervous. I don't consider myself like a millennial, but I am. And not to mention the people that are coming up behind me, dude, I'm just telling you, like, the mentality is different. For most of us coming up, we're like, fuck it. I'd rather spend $1,200 on a freaking ultrasound and know for a fact, but which is for the record, I will say it's a stupid mentality. It's a stupid mentality that I would rather spend money than to learn a skill.
Here's my
because there's always somebody that's willing to teach you that skill, just like yourself.
Here's my thing, because I'm just starting. Like, literally, we're just starting. I would love to have one to make sure that what I'm seeing, what I'm spotting, what I'm feeling is right.
Correct. Yep. Right. Just like what I just did. Like, I'm like I
back
think
it up with the ultrasound.
I don't know. Yes.
Right.
Well, it's all about having facts, actual facts, and not be but for, at least for me, the reality of that comes down to not trusting myself and not having faith in myself.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
The literal devil. Shane is the literal devil.
Why he's here? Hashtag vote Shane. Hashtag make snakes lame again. Hashtag
you know what? You know what? Nobody.
Really?
Literally.
Are you kidding me?
Nobody. John, even you can't knock him for that. You can't knock the man for his hustle.
Listen.
Nobody can deny.
Listen.
But I do want to say on this live, so for those that are not aware, because Shane's not even explaining himself apparently, there is a vote. There's a vote going on right now on Snakes and the Fat Man.
Else to talk about yourself, damn it.
Yeah, so there's a Snakes and the Fat Man vote going on.
John Feely's also up.
John Feely, the greatest 15 minutes of lane guest ever in the history of the world, is up for a vote.
Shane,
he's actually the only person up for vote. He's the only choice. So it should be a real simple choice for you guys.
No, Shane.
No, Shane's on there too. And again, all these guys are my friends. And so it was really difficult for me. It's very convenient to have like 5 different email addresses if you're feeling torn. Where
it's okay. He only voted one for you, Joe.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Nobody knows who I voted 1 time or 3 times or 2 times or 4 times for. And nobody needs to. It's no different than any other political vote. It's a very political thing. It's very
it's great. It's great though. My 6-year-old made a campaign video for Shane.
She did, and it was awesome. Yeah.
And she was sitting there singing, "All I want for Christmas is Shane to win the contest," or no, "All I want for Christmas is you to vote for Shane." And then she ends the song with, "If you don't vote for Shane, that means Santa's not real."
Oh my God. Just she like
where's
stabbed
she at? I'm
everyone
gonna
and
have to
just
break
really,
a heart. No, I'm just
really twisted the knife.
And I'm just like, because I didn't script her, and I'm just like, I love you.
Right.
I'm sending this to Shane. This is too good. Like, she's
kids are so pure. They're so pure. It's
Shane's a good dude, man. Like,
yeah.
no, he is, and that's what makes.
If he wins, he deserves it.
Holy shit!
Every bit of this contest, in my opinion, I hate it. I hate every bit of it because, like I said, there's just I'm too close and too friendly with
I
so
just
many
can't
people.
do it anymore. Like everywhere I turn around, Shane's posting on it, so I have to
John,
undermine him on everyone. I'm not.
John, I literally got a message today, and I'm not going to name who it was. I don't know if they're in here in the comments. If you are, I'm not talking shit. I'm just pointing out. I literally got a message from one of the people that's involved that was literally just a spam message. Like they copy and pasted this to everyone, and it literally just said vote for, and it sent me the link, like the same way that you sent me the link the other day. But it was literally just vote for us on, and I'm like, did you really just copy and paste the same message to everyone on your freaking Facebook? Like, you know, and again, I'm not talking shit because I'm like, I kind of respect it and I understand what you're trying to do.
Come on,
well, I'll tell you. Well, so what I'll tell you is that kind of shit does not work for me. I am not that person because my immediate connection to that was, we're trying to reach you about your vehicle's extended warranty. I'm like, that's not the way to market yourself. That's the wrong way to go
that's
about it.
Literally what I did to you, but then I sent a personal message right after.
No, well, but that's what I'm getting at. That's a different deal. That's my point. Is that if you have that because again, this is someone that I have a personal relationship with. So the message that I sent back to them was a personal message, and they replied again with a personal message. But it was just like the sentiment was there, and so again, you know, I don't know. I would much rather people do what Shane's doing and what you're doing, John, with just like promoting it through social media in funny ways, and all those guys, like for the most part, almost everybody, is just like promoting it in funny ways, and like, you know, through Instagram stories and just whatever, and making it fun, because that's what it should be about at the end of the day. You know, I still haven't
using children in campaign ads.
I mean, you know, I mean, it wasn't voluntary. She wanted to do that, which is cool, and that's awesome.
It was hilarious. It was actually really hilarious.
I mean, it'd be different if he was like, "Listen, I'll pay your daughter $20 if she will make a video promoting me for," you know.
Well, he actually calls her his #1 fan. I had to cut her off of Shane videos for a while. It was bad.
Yeah. Well, there's different things involved in that too. You know that. Yeah. You know, mentally, and so that totally makes sense. Yeah. So no, I think that's good. What's up, brother?
Well,
I'm
hyping everyone else. Yeah. What are you doing with Ultramel next year?
What am I doing with Ultramel next year? So so I will say, so I when Chris Sexton, I'll bring him up again. When Chris Sexton was on Brian Cusco's live as a guest, my question after, hey Moose, I hope you're doing well, brother. I hope your dad's doing all right.
Yes, I hope your dad's doing good.
Again, it's another person who's got some things going on in the hobby that I love to death and I think about often. So Moose, like I said, I hope you're doing all right, man.
So back to
Ultramel. So I was asking Chris, and it was a serious question, and I know that, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, like a lot of times people discredit me at this point and they think that I'm kidding when I bring it up, but I'm being 100% serious. I'm always looking for outside input. I'm always looking for people to talk to me about this stuff. I don't have any more water next to me, so
pure constrictors. We don't have that kind of time on this channel.
No, we probably don't. But I have been looking at a male that realistically, by the time I have the money to buy him, he'll probably be sold. But there is currently a pastel clown, 100% het Ultramel male. That's for sale from a really great breeder that I respect, who I won't mention because I don't want people to go there and buy it from him. Yeah. For my own selfish reason, because I would love to have it. But I think that realistically, it's probably, like I said, just financially, it's not where I'm at right now. It's not a super expensive male. and Ultramel is not a super expensive project to buy into for those that are interested. It's really not. But it's going to be in the next couple of years. You start looking at the double recessive projects with it, and it jumps up exponentially. But no,
I know we want to get into it.
I may have a deal for you there.
Yeah. And so what I have, again, just to remind people what I have in my racks that I'm super excited about in terms of Het Ultramel. So I have a breeding size pastel leopard Het Ultramel from Justin Kabilko. I also, again, have a super form of Ultramel. There's no super form of Ultramel. You're just trying to get me to say it. I didn't look at who was freaking asking the question to realize it was a troll question. I should have known because Kathleen was highlighting it. Give me a second. I'll go outside to grab some more water.
No, we're not. This isn't getting monetized later. It's beer.
It's definitely water. But no. So I have
you
can
actually monetize with alcohol still, right?
Yeah, you can. It's just the algorithm gets upset with you. That's literally all. Yeah. Which again, whatever. Anyways, so I have a pastel leopard Het Ultramel female. She reabsorbed for me this year, as far as I know. I mean, I check her every day because I'm like, shit, she might drop eggs for me tomorrow. I have no idea. But she probably reabsorbed. But again, the female that I'm super excited about that I already talked about, she's a fire yellow belly spot nose Het Ultramel. So that being said, if I was to get a pastel clown Het Ultramel, I could potentially produce, let's think about this, pastel, spot nose, fire, yellow belly, Ultramels.
Stop it.
that are 100% Het for clown. And again, I also have the pastel leopard Het for the Eugene.
Thank you.
That was not intentional, for the record. I can't help myself sometimes, and I've had a few waters, so I'm just talking at this point.
The school run's going to be fun in the morning.
Oh, trust me, I have to be up at 5 a.m. Eastern time to get to work, so it'll be fun for all of us. It's all good though. It's worth it. But yeah, so again, I think my kind of long-term goal right now is realistically like spot nose, leopard, Ultramel, clowns.
Nice.
Sorry to you guys that are following the rules really tightly. I do apologize.
My channel.
I'm gonna go grab some water now because I do feel bad.
Okay, new question, so you can get away from that U word.
Yes.
If you could receive mentorship from one individual in the hobby, like personal mentorship, like in person, who would it be right now?
That's good.
Right now, I would say it's a toss-up. So,
and why? You have to explain why.
Oh, no, you know me. I'm always gonna elaborate. I apologize. You're hearing me clink around a bunch of glass water bottles that are in my outside fridge. So give me a second, and I'll be right back.
Don't encourage Marshall. No, I actually do love lace, and I want to get my hands on some, but it's really tricky in Canada to get your hands on it.
Oh, well.
All right.
So send it to Billy, and then you could go to Billy's, and then you could get other stuff.
In terms of people that I would like to have as mentors right now in the hobby, I will admit, currently, I feel like I have all the mentors in the hobby that I need and want. And that's not to say that I can't learn from other people. But my biggest mentors in the hobby were, in my mind, or like people I was learning from, was Garrett. Like Garrett was a big one. And again, Garrett is who I got my number one project. Like, as much as I love Ultramel and it's my project, and it really is, and I own that. I'm the only person in the world. I feel like I need to reiterate that. I am the only person in the entire world that can produce within the next 6 months to a year. I can produce dwarf super tiger rennet ghosts or any dwarf rennet ghosts. No one else. Literally, there's not a person on the planet right now that is even remotely close within years and years of producing visual rennet ghosts in dwarf pythons, dwarf reticulated pythons.
Super amazing.
It's a big deal. And I don't talk about it enough. And I've been told by people in this hobby that I don't talk about it enough.
I've been saying this since our interview. You need to talk about it more, and you need to talk about yourself more. You need to become an airhead a little bit. Like let that shit inflate. I said this on my podcast with you. Let that shit inflate because you're a badass dude. You got some badass shit. I'm sorry. Now you're not gonna monetize this video.
I know. If you'll shut the fuck up, I'll talk about myself.
I'm really. I haven't done any mouth. I'm sorry.
I don't even think any of these.
You're 100% right, John. You're 100% right, John. And I agree. And that's why I'm leaning into it right now. So, my big saying for people that don't know it, it's lean into it. Lean into the things you're passionate about. Lean into the things that you love. Lean into the things you're doing. Lean into it. It's the best advice I ever received from a close friend of mine, a number of years ago, was just lean into it. And it has numerous implications. He used to say it to me when I was getting frustrated or pissed off about stuff, but just lean into it. Anyways, so I'm leaning into it. Like I said, I'm the only person that has a shot at producing rennet ghost dwarf pythons, dwarf reticulated pythons. Period.
That's amazing. That's
and it is amazing. It is amazing. And I you know what? I think I hesitate to talk about it most often because it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on me to feel like I'm the fuck. It does. It scares the hell out of me. And that's why I'm super glad that I was able, every step that I take in this hobby is always a step that I'm building upon. I haven't even begun to reach the cap on where I want to go. And I haven't talked about that a lot, but I plan to be a fucking force in this hobby. And this is the first time I'm saying this live, and I hope that it doesn't come across super arrogant, but it's just the facts. I do. I feel like I have a lot to bring to the table in terms of any business, anything that I dedicate myself to. Anything in my life that I've ever dedicated myself to, again, not being arrogant, I have always excelled at. I always have.
Zach Freeze.
Except for having good internet.
That's perfect.
Zach broke the internet.
Yep.
Literally.
Excelled at everything.
He'll be back.
Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, that's so funny. He's like, I'm going to excel. I'm going to do well. I'm announcing right now. And then.
I bet you he hasn't noticed yet either. Or he's just now noticing.
Oh, man.
I love that, dude.
I wonder if
he's going
so good. So good.
This is great. I'm glad I brought other people into it.
I love the face, too. Look at the face that it paused on.
Yeah. I'm just going to screenshot this real quick.
Did you get it?
No, he dropped out. He's coming back. He'll come back.
Okay.
All right, I'll send him the link again. Oh, that was amazing. He was all like, no, but I understand where he's coming from because it's so hard when you're new in this hobby. I have Billy from Mutation Creation who wants to come on here. Do you think I've taken him up on his offer yet?
You need to.
Yeah. Why haven't you?
Quit being scared and do it.
It's not like
Billy already said yes. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Billy said yes multiple times.
What are you waiting for?
I don't want to bother.
I'm not here. No, it's not even that. I can tell you this. The first time I talked to Billy, the first time, and he was in the middle of doing a security camera install for his regular business, right?
Yeah.
This guy stepped away for 3 hours and talked to me the first time I talked to him. 3 hours to a guy that had less than 6 months talking like no one knew my face, nothing. He talked to me for 3 hours and was like, whatever you want to do, do it. Don't give a fuck what anyone else says. Do it.
100%.
So if he said yes, bring him on. Quit being scared. Bring him on. And I'm not saying that to be rude to you. I'm saying that because there's no reason for any of us to be hesitant, right? Like if I had Brian Barczyk on my channel tomorrow, and I love the dude, I idolized him for a while. You know what I mean? But at the same time, Brian Barczyk's the same person I am. We both love animals. We both put our fucking jeans on first thing in the morning, and we get to work with our animals. You know what I mean? Like,
and he told every single one of us straight up when we had our Zoom call, that's all he has to do. That's what he lives for it in the evening, right?
Yep.
It's to shoot the shit with people.
Yeah.
I mean, he told us straight up that that's what he loves to do. So do it. Call.
Yeah. Oh, thank God he's back. Let's get back to him.
I appreciate that, Marvel.
Hi, honey.
I'm not super important.
Oh, damn it.
I was literally just running around my fucking house.
That's a better one. Screenshot that one.
Entire house.
Yep.
My whole internet crashed. Like, mid rant. I was like, I'm gonna lean into talking myself up, and the universe goes, nah, man, not tonight.
You know what?
I don't even know what the last thing you guys heard. I looked down at my computer and the screen's fucking blank. I was talking for a while. I mean, you guys know I can rant.
I called it.
I wish I was fucking. I'd be a lot less angry right now.
That's okay. Shout out to TER Reptiles.
What was the last thing you guys heard? Fill me in.
I forgot.
Hold on.
So much fun.
Someone sent me the screenshot that I couldn't get.
I want to see it because now I feel like you guys are talking about me.
Okay, so when you were like going, you're like, I'm saying it right now on the internet tonight. I'm going to like stand up for myself, and then you were like, and then
it froze.
You froze, but you froze like this. You're like,
it was like absolute most
with like the worst face ever. That explains. That explains all the Instagram messages that I'm getting right now, because I'm sure they're all screenshots from that, which is just wonderful. I have like four Instagram messages that I haven't seen yet, because I literally I was mid rant, and that was my worst fear. I'm like, please fucking tell me that I didn't just announce. I'm getting text messages. I'm getting Instagram messages. It must have been.
We're just like, he broke the internet.
Yep.
I mean, hell, what did I say earlier today? I'm really big about energy. And like putting you get back what you put out into the universe, and clearly, the world wasn't ready for me to start talking shit yet. And I honestly don't even remember what I was like even ranting about this point. It was just I think it was just in general just
oh no,
just
you were literally like, I'm saying it tonight on the internet.
I know.
I'm going to start promoting myself, and then you're like, and
as soon as you said you're promoting yourself, you froze. It was over.
That's fucking amazing. I hope that's a meme later. For anybody that's out there, please make that a fucking meme. I talk shit, like, please, for the love of God.
Going on.
That'll be the greatest promotion you ever do for me. It'll be
I'm going to like go back
for you to
I'm going to go
make
back
that a meme and
watch
spread
that clip. Watch that clip and get that one clip.
I'm probably gonna go back and watch it and like cry.
I am crying.
It's
I'm
it's
so glad.
Good.
We knew this was going to be a good live stream. We just didn't really understand exactly how much it was going to be good.
Aurora, I'm going to say it for the first time. I'm going places in this hobby.
I am. For the record, I still am on video. I don't want to say it too loud because I feel like my fucking LTE is going to crash. I've only got I'm streaming with one bar of signal.
My God.
Oh, Jesus. Please.
Oh, I heard.
Now every time you guys laugh, I'm like, fuck, am I frozen again? I don't know.
Oh. Ultramel.
Oh, man. I'm out of beer.
I know.
Oh,
I've only got a little bit left.
I was out of bourbon.
Yeah, but you've been sipping on the same bottle. I've already gone through 2.
Yeah.
Okay, but the past 2 out of 3 years, basically, I've been pregnant. So I'm a cheap drunk right now.
And I haven't been pregnant. So.
I appreciate that.
So for the
that's
record,
not my problem.
Yeah.
For the record, I'm fucking
but I still
going
love you for it, Kathleen. My wife feels that same pain.
I really hate right now that I.
Oh my God, Shane has got it right there. Oh.
New series coming.
Shane's been trying. No, real quick. And this is the last talk on the voting. Stop it, Shane. Shane said instead of a debate that we should have done wrestling to decide who wins the snake and the fat man contest.
Well, here's the thing. You guys got to understand where Shane.
Surprised?
You have to understand where Shane gets his marketing tactics from. He literally gets it from old school wrestling. Yeah, it's how he is. But it's gold.
Yeah.
That's for a good reason. It makes sense and it works. It's obviously working.
I was actually the one who gave him the idea for the debate.
I mean, that's what I was going for by like finally leaning into it and talking shit about myself finally, and then the internet crashed. So now I'm like hesitant to do it again.
Is the timing and the face, because you're like.
Oh my God.
It was great.
I'm how everybody's entertained. It's super embarrassing for me, but again, that's the same as like being called Master Ultramel. It's super embarrassing to me. So
I'm just
gonna lean into it.
Possibly we can see it.
I don't want to see it. I'm good. I'll have to see it later.
Great. This is glorious. No, this needs to be seen.
Can you see it? Can you see it?
I can't. Not on my phone. I'm on my phone screen now. So
can you?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My freaking internet completely crashed.
It was great. It was the best timing. I enjoyed it. That was like.
I might have peed a little. It was pretty good.
I may have peed a little as well. We don't know yet. Screenshot.
Please screenshot.
Got it.
Yeah, John.
Damn it.
Oh, Zachary.
Oh my gosh.
Alyssa, please fill me in. Chad, that's what you said.
We start. Whew.
And welcome to my chat, guys. This is Chad Pedro. No, I don't. That's what I use Incognito for.
See, I really need to get. I really need to get up to date on this whole bill.
Kathleen.
What
all are you trying to breed? I know you said last night something about chameleons.
Yeah.
As well,
so,
right?
Well, not chameleons. So, we were going to breed beardies. We have 5. I'm no longer doing that. We're going to focus on the balls right now. Yeah. Because I don't know if you guys
focus on. Never mind.
So I don't know if you know, bearded dragon hatchlings are dicks. I mean, they can lay up to 5 clutches in a season. They can lay anywhere from 15 to 30 eggs. Realistically, you can get like 150 eggs from one female in a season. And they're vicious. They kill each other. I'm not doing that. So I'm doing the ball python. And I will be breeding because they're kind of a less fast, which means like you just leave them to their devices. The Cuban false chameleons.
Okay.
So you can cohab them and you kind of just like let them go.
And with those Cuban false chameleons, you said that you're going to be one or two breeders
She'll be the second person in
Canada. The first person was captive bred. So I got mine from the first person who imported hers in 2015. And she's never sold them in pairs before. She's only sold them locally. Like, she never even knew shipping reptiles was a thing until I found her in the Anolis Canada group, because Cuban false chameleons are actually anoles or anoles. Okay. So, yeah. And I talked her through how to ship. Yeah. And I said, look, I want to do it. Can I have a male and female? And she's like, sure.
But you state that you know nothing, and look, you're teaching people.
They're cute. They're dicks. Oh.
They're cute. You know. Not to be an asshole, but I'm just saying, like, you.
Yeah.
You know more than you think. You need to take credit for what you know. And what you know to be true. And it's the same thing with Zach, right? Like, I will tell you this. I am Zach's biggest hype man. Like, anytime he's down, anytime, like, every day, I send that guy probably 20 to at least 20 messages saying, hey, I love you. Promote yourself. You're better than you think. Do your shit.
I do that with him, too.
You need to listen to the same. You're better than you think. You have taken the opportunity this young in the community to be with people that have an overwhelming amount of knowledge because of who they've associated themselves with. Like,
you totally stole that from Saturday Night Live, and
I'll steal you from Saturday Night Live.
Stuart Smalley. You're better.
I was thinking Nights at the Roxbury, but it's okay.
Yeah, no, that was Stuart Smalley all the way. You're better than you think. You're smarter than you think.
Like,
and somebody likes you.
Just for any context, though, people, I just met John Feely like today.
Oh, what?
Like, we had our first. John. Well, last night was on the Zoom call, but we didn't actually talk. Today was the first day we've actually talked.
Oh. I've known him a day or two.
Longer.
How long is it? I don't remember. I think I said like 3 years. Is he back? Is he back? Is he back?
Hey,
I don't know. Maybe
there he is.
Maybe I am. Again, I'm still on LTE. My internet says I'm online, but it's my laptop is saying otherwise. So I don't know. This is like, you guys know how badly I react to negative shit happening, and so this is like frustrating.
No, you don't get to be mad, Zach.
I don't even know how many
this
people.
Is an overflow of love towards you, and that's why your internet's crashing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna tell myself, and I'm gonna keep this smile on my face. Like, when we get off of here, trust me, I'm gonna be like fucking throwing shit.
So, speaking of smile
shit, I'm gonna be like throwing beers back. Like, it's gonna be bad.
Speaking of smiles on your faces, the chat wants me to explain drill those to Michael.
Please do.
So you were busy Monday on someone else's podcast, which would be that guy over there. It's all confused now.
I was going to say literally the two people that are in here.
Yeah, on top. Marshall's on top of him.
Why does Marshall have to be on top? Why do I got to be the bottom?
I got to be on top.
Marines aren't on top. You know this.
Anyways, it was mentioned in Billy's podcast about Tinley in the auction, and apparently there was something called a drill dough. auction.
Not apparently. No, there actually is.
Yeah, it was.
So, anyways, that got brought up. I may have made a few smart remarks, and some other people made some remarks.
I definitely made a lot of smart remarks.
I remember breaking Billy a couple. Thoughts.
Seriously, guys, like, how many comments can you have about a drill dough?
Well, we were going to name. We're going to name.
You would be amazed. They went on for not only hours
joke.
and hours, but then also...
Marshall just did a fucking dad joke, and no one caught it.
I'm shocked.
So we were comparing them to Star Wars or something, and I was like, we can call one C-3PO.
Yeah, and Billy literally fell on the floor.
On the floor.
I can't remember. Kathleen, do you remember what I said? And the same thing, like he literally like stopped breathing for like a good 30 to 45 seconds. I don't remember. Oh, yeah. I remember what it was. I said, because Chris was the one that brought it up. I said, I can just picture it now. Chris's next video is going to be him showing how to get dried up urates out of the corners of your tubs with the drill dough. And Billy literally like fell on the floor, like melted down for a good like 45 seconds. I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to think of practical applications.
And then I did hashtag Team Drilly, hashtag Team Austin.
Oh my God. Why not?
And so then Billy gets to one point and he's like, Kathleen.
Right.
And I'm like, are you disappointed in me? He's like,
have I crossed the line? Says the man that got ice water dumped on him naked in video. But whatever.
Actually, he did bring up that in the same podcast. It's super funny to say that.
That's because of me. Because I said I was going to go screenshot it so I can make a drill dough meme.
Oh.
Hey, I think my internet's back up on my laptop.
Okay.
Note to self: be careful of what you post on YouTube, because Kathleen will make a meme out of you.
Kathleen is watching.
Well, I mean, I got nothing else to do. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
What do you do? No, not again.
Drill dough bag. I'm messaging Billy. What's he doing right now?
Oh my God. Oh, that's the worst possible.
What's Billy doing right now? I'm messaging him. He's online.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Drill dough talk on my podcast.
Where did Zach go? Bring Zach back on.
I have to wait for him. Oh, there he is.
Hang on. I swear to fucking God, this is like the worst night of my life.
No. Good sir, this is the best night of your life. You just don't know.
My AirPods that I made a point to charge prior to this died.
Mm-hmm.
so now I'm on.
The only smart man in this whole thing was Chris when he bowed out like 2 hours ago.
100%, because it's been a shit show ever since.
Perfect.
Because I just realized
you missed it, Zach. You missed it, Zach. I messaged Billy. I said, "What are you doing? They're bringing up drill doughs on my podcast."
Is it feeding back really bad through my laptop because of the fact that I'm on speaker?
Yeah, you're better now.
Well, the reason I ask is I haven't changed anything. My AirPods are completely dead, though.
Oh, you sound fine.
All right, as long as it's good for you guys, good for me.
I mean, I could say things, but it'd be awkward because I'm with 3 dudes right now. But you know.
Oh, all right. Well,
Oh God,
I
guys.
love y'all. I gotta help get the kids to bed.
Mr. Feely, I love you, brother. Yep. Seriously,
yes,
thanks so much for
thanks
being
for popping in.
It
really thanks for popping in.
I meant what I said. It felt like a really great surprise birthday party. It was good to see you, man. Seriously.
You deserve it.
Love you, man.
Be good. Talk about yourself. It's okay.
Yes. And if anybody's not following Mr. Feely,
yeah,
go
John
give him a follow.
Like, again, one of the most positive people in the hobby. He's a good dude. Give him a follow.
We just met really today. Oh, he's not already. And 3 dudes, 1 chick. Oh God.
And I'm bowing out next.
Mr. Platt, again, thank you for everything you've done for me, man. In all seriousness,
I love you guys. This has been a great time. I'm so glad to have taken part in this. But I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, it's midnight here, so I think once you split, Zach and I will wrap it up. Maybe talk about him for a minute or 2.
Please do. Hype that guy up. He's the best guy that there is in the biz. I love him.
Oh yeah, we all love Zach.
All right.
Love you, Marshall. Have a good night, brother. Thank you, man. Seriously.
Bye.
Bye.
Again, if you're not following Marshall, his stuff's not in the description either because this is all last minute done and funny. Actually, it was.
Perfect.
No, I told him around this afternoon.
It's a surprise party. That's the way I think about it. It's like a surprise party. It's great.
I knew you were having a rough week, and I'm like, what can I do to make this fun?
No, this has been a blast, an absolute blast. And again, even without anybody, like you can probably see it on my face, as frustrated and pissed off as I am, like this hobby and just talking about this hobby and having the opportunity to do the stuff like this, it brings me so much joy that like nothing bothers me, and that's a rare thing. And I think that's what honestly made me fall in love with this hobby even more as now that I've gotten older and I got back into it. Is that even when bad things happen or things that are normally frustrating to me, it's very rare for me to be able to laugh things off. And I've been able to laugh things off as a result of like being in this. I've had to, but also just like they just haven't bothered me at all. So it's a good hobby.
Really quick, Chad, it's Jeff Feely, or not Jeff Feely, it's Jay Feely, like JFEALY. That's his Instagram handle.
Yeah, Jay Feely, and it's John Feely on like Facebook, and you could I think you can search him by John Feely even on Instagram, but it's JON Feely. But yeah,
I'll find all of them and make an IG post later. And
for sure. I was gonna say, but between the two of us, if you guys are following us both, you'll definitely see John, Marshall, Chris, all those guys. We'll tag all of them at some point.
Yeah. I definitely think, though, being new, and you can probably attest to this, like you need to come out of your bubble. You can't stay in your little breeder bubble. You need to get into the big community.
It's all personal. But what I will say, because I mean, you've seen me. I've made Instagram posts, Facebook posts about this numerous times that I have really only leaned into, and again, I use it all the time, but it's true. And I would challenge anyone to think about those words, lean into it. It's kind of what I'm trying to kind of push to be my catchphrase, because it's my catchphrase personally every day. Lean into it. When you lean into the things that you're passionate about, whether that's reptiles or not, anything that you are passionate about, that you really lean into, once you do, it will quickly become the greatest thing you've ever done in your life. The greatest thing that I have ever done in my life was to really lean into the reptile hobby and really lean into my love for these animals. I have had more accidental success in terms of relationship building, because to me, that's really all I've done. I have people that are ready to buy these animals that I've produced, like right now. And that's an amazing feat for me without having had to advertise them even really, but just from talking about them and talking about what I'm passionate about, talking about what I love, people are interested in that. And that's an amazing thing for me. So just lean into whatever you're passionate about. But this hobby, it's an amazing group of people. A lot more amazing than what a lot of people will set out to tell you that it is. And I'm excited to literally get to know literally any of you.
I think you need to make some t-shirts that say Nava Reptiles in the back or on the front, and then on the back, like up high, say lean into it.
Yeah, and that's 100% my plan. It's funny that you said that, because literally that's my plan. Was I haven't publicly said the whole lean into it thing a lot. I mean, I have, but not in terms of like anything that's been recorded. But that has been my motto for the last couple of years. Since it was, again, it's a mantra that's not mine. It was something that was kind of taught to me by an older coworker that I worked with, and he was like, "Hey Zach, just lean into it." You know, the short version is that it was when I was early in bartending, and this is what was a person that had been in the industry for a long time, and he would see me getting frustrated, or he would see me kind of like getting in the weeds, like getting too busy, and or just pissed off or whatever, and he would walk up to me and he would put his hand on my shoulders. "Hey Zach, just lean into it, man." And he would smile real big, because he would, again, you guys might have seen it tonight, like when I get frustrated, like it's very clear on my face. But he would like almost kind of hug me, like squeeze my shoulders. "Hey Zach, just lean into it." And he would laugh at me, like he would laugh at my frustration. And I'm telling you, it became an inside joke between me and this other employee, again, who was like about 10 years older than me. It became an inside joke of just lean into it. And to the point that I would, when he wasn't there and we weren't working together and we got slammed and I was super busy, like the lean into it thing was what made me smile, because I'd get super slammed and I'd get excited because I'm like, lean into it, man, just lean into it and have fun. And so I that's like my number one piece of advice. And that probably is going to be my saying going forward. It has been for over a year now. Just lean into it. Like whatever it is, whether it's your reptile hobby, Brian Cusco's wife is a great example. You know, she's real into like health and wellness and stuff. Like just fucking lean into it. You know, the second you think that you're the only person that cares about the stuff you're talking about, you're wrong, because the internet is a big place.
Oh yeah.
And it will quickly introduce you to people that are into the same stuff that you are into. So just lean into it and far.
If you start getting into it and you run into people that you don't necessarily get along with, keep going, because you're gonna find your niche.
Yeah, and it's very universal. Lean into that. Like if it's like I said, I'm not trying to be cliche, but it really is. It's kind of the way I've lived my life over the last couple of years. Literally anything you come across, think through it, and it's contextual, but lean into it. Like lean into it, because I'd be getting pissed the fuck off at a customer, like angry as hell, like the worst customer you've ever dealt with in your life. And he would sneak up behind me and smile and laugh. "Hey Zach, just lean into it, man." And that's where it started. It was when I would be frustrated, when I'd be down, when I'd be upset. "Hey Zach, just lean into it, man." Because what it was all about just like accepting your current position, like your current situation, and just saying, lean into it. You know, and it was like, you can either approach these people, like if somebody's upsetting you, you know, or if something in life is bothering you, you got one of two choices. You can be upset about it, which to me it's like the way I think about it now, it's like you're shying away from it. You don't want to deal with it. Or you can lean into it and be like, "Hey, I'm the master of my universe. I'm the master. I have control over my life. I'm going to lean in. I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to lean into it hard, and I'm going to take control, and everything's going to be cool because I say it is." And so, that's where it comes from for me. So I'm with you, Kathleen. My plan is definitely to make some shirts. When I do, it'll have my Nava Reptiles logo, which for those that haven't seen it, it's right there.
It's up there.
Yeah. And it will definitely say something along the lines of lean into it and on the back.
I want one.
Me too. I'm being serious. I want one too, so bad.
I literally have no merch. Like I have one shirt.
No, me either. Well, it costs money, and that's another thing that people don't talk about. You know,
it costs money.
Stickers, stuff like that. It costs money. You know, I have some stickers, but they're very limited. I only got like 30 printed because it costs money.
Yeah. We don't even have a logo, and the reason we don't have a logo is I can't draw one for apparent reasons. I'm dumb.
Well, and my
and I can't afford to go on Fiverr and pay someone to make me one.
Yeah, and trust me, I could have gone on Fiverr and paid someone to make me a logo, and it would have probably been fine. For those that don't know, I did pay Blake Stewart to do my logo. It was not cheap. I will never tell anybody. I will always preface it. It's not cheap. It's very expensive, and I mean very expensive. And by that I mean it's what you would probably spend on. This is all relative, but it's probably what you would spend on a pretty good breeder male. It's what I probably could have spent on a good breeder male. But instead, I'm playing the long game in terms of everything that I do. In terms of the projects I'm invested in, such as, again, my world's first, potential super tiger rennet ghost slayers, dwarf. I play the long game in most things. And so I invested a lot of money in my logo, in my design, in my branding. But I took it as what it was. It was a long-term investment for me. I bought into this for the long haul. Because I love everything about this hobby. I love all of the people, and I just, again, the more I lean into it, the more that I love everything that's going on. I've met just so many wonderful people, and I have so much enjoyment. Just even stuff like this that frustrates me because my internet crashed in the middle of it.
It was honestly really great.
It's been an absolute joy, and I don't mean to keep you guys super late, but
no, that's fine. One thing I would suggest, I think Zach would agree with this. Like, you need almost stay away from Facebook groups if you're trying to find people.
I would agree with that. At this point in time, absolutely. I would agree with that.
Go find your favorite YouTuber and go to Patreon. Look up if they have one and join the Discord.
Absolutely. The ones that I would say come to mind are the two that I'm currently a member of. Which would be Brian Cusco's Patreon is amazing.
Love it. It's like a family right from the get-go.
No, literally, and because Kathleen, I told you that's been my family for a very long time. Like not like saying anything negative, but I was in there before you were, and it's always been that way. It's always been that way. It's always been a family. The people that were on this video tonight with me, we're from, with the exception of John Feely, are people that I only know because of Brian Cusco's Discord. And there are people that I've made friends with that have given me advice. Shane Kelly is another one. Again, he popped in tonight. It's all about building relationships with people that are actually doing the things that you want to do. And don't ever, and I mean ever, don't ever trust necessarily the first person that you come across that's doing the things that you want to do. Because there is still a lot of bad information out there. So again, it's all about building relationships. And it's no different than anything else in life. And what I will say is that I know there's a lot of people in this hobby, and a lot of people in life in general that are nervous about reaching out to people, about talking to people. Because I still get that way. I again, like my job has helped me get better at it, but I get nervous all the time, and I still get nervous even when people message me that I don't know. But I will say that this hobby has been very conducive towards my growth, in terms of just people's willingness to talk. So as long as you're reaching out to the right people and you're doing it the right way, this hobby is amazing in terms of how much help there is to be had. And Kathleen, you're absolutely right. Discord via Patreon is absolutely, like, I think Cusco's Patreon is like $5 or $6 a month is the cheapest that you can get.
There's one that's $3, the single scene.
Yeah. And that would be the greatest investment that you've ever made in this hobby, literally ever. $3 a month. You pay more, you pay triple that for Netflix.
Another good one, Billy's Discord. Is Billy?
I was just saying, Billy. I was just because there's three that come to mind. Is Brian's, Garrett's from Reptiles, which is amazing. Literally, I was on a live with him personally, like an hour prior to starting this. And then, like you said, Billy's is another one, and Billy's is on my list. Now, for those that don't know, I've been out of work. I was a bartender, so I've been out of work for about 7-8 months. I just now started a new job, so money is tight. But I do have every intention of subscribing to Billy's. Billy's been a huge supporter of me for no reason, for literally no reason other than that he and I interacted on, again, going back to it, on Cusco's.
The Discord, there's also sometimes Discords are run with breeders and there's not Patreon.
Yes.
So you and I met through the Reptile Ward.
Yes. Yep. The Reptile Ward, Chris Ward. And again, just another huge shout out. Like, Chris has been a major supporter of me from day one.
Same.
Yeah, I don't have words. Chris is he's just and I know that you feel the same way. Chris he's a good guy. As much as he jokes around and stuff like that may make people maybe not take him super seriously, but he is a great guy. And he's doing a lot for this hobby and just for people in general. I tend to equate the two things together just because I've made so many friends, but yeah, he's a good guy. He shouted me out on Billy's. He's the one that brought me up on Billy's podcast for the first time.
That was such a great night.
Yeah, it was, and it is, and it's a night I will never forget. Like, those moments are huge, and that's just the way that Chris is. Chris Ward is again just another one of those beacons in the hobby that is willing to shine light on anyone and everyone that is doing things the right way, and he's just a good guy. He just is. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, Chris is good people. We love Chris. I actually did a mentor series with him because that's my mentor.
Yeah,
is Mr. Christopher. I can't call him Chris, it's Christopher, but I yell at him like 20 times a day.
But that's what you're supposed to do, especially with somebody like him. And he'll tell you that. He'll tell you that. He's, but that's, again, that's what I love about him, is that he takes himself not seriously at all. He's all about jokes and this and the other, but the second you need something from him, he's all business. Like, he's 100% serious. Like, whatever you need, he'll have a serious conversation with you. And that's not just us because we know him. Like, literally, obviously, with anyone. I didn't know him at one point. He knew me from no one. I was nobody to him, and he was still very much willing to help me out, to have a conversation with me about this, that, and the other thing. And I think that rings true just for the most part in general in this hobby. If you reach out to somebody and they're not willing to help you in this hobby, it's probably somebody that you don't want to know. Is the best advice I would give you, is that if you reach out to somebody and you're reasonable, again, I wouldn't say like reach out to Justin Pilka and ask him to help you 12 times a day about identifying clutches. You probably shouldn't do that.
No,
that's you shouldn't do that.
I would do that to Chris though. I personally would do. Don't actually do that to Chris. But me personally, I would.
But you have that relationship, is my point.
Yeah.
My point is, try to be socially aware, because I understand that not everybody is. Like, try to think about it. Try to put yourself in that person's shoes. Because I know there's a lot of people in this hobby that are not super socially aware, and that's fine. But that's why I bring it up.
Make those relationships before you have those buds.
Build those relationships, and then you maybe you can have that kind of quote unquote privilege, if you will, of asking those people for help. And that's been the biggest thing for me, is, again, going back to it, Patreon. Cusco's Patreon's been huge for me in terms of building a lot of relationships in this hobby with people that are willing to help me.
Yeah.
And that's major. So think about that. And
I'm just in Cusco's thing for the sticker. He knows that.
See, I've been a patron of Cusco since 2000, probably 15 or 14, 5 or 6 years, off and on. And he'll tell you that. He called me out on it before, that I was in and out. And I was like, hey man, I don't always have money. Like,
he gave me a compliment.
Especially like
Cusco gave me a compliment one night, and I didn't know if it was like a sneaky one. He said it's a compliment. He said, but he's never, and he's good at reading people. What did he say? He's never been able to figure someone out so quickly right off the hop. And I'm like, are you saying I'm simple?
Nathan Cat.
I know. I was so excited. That's why I did the woo.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Yeah, dude, yeah. I already told you a messenger. I'm so fucking glad you're doing well, dude. Like, so glad. And I don't mean that to sound like I was worried about you, but I was worried about you because I've lived it. I had, obviously my surgery was a lot more major in terms of like my fusion, but I was still nervous for you, dude. And I you know, I've talked enough. I don't need to like go deep into it, but I love you, man. I'm so fucking glad you're recovering well. I really am.
I want to know if the Aussie name just makes Paul. I'm going to open it up. I'm calling it 5 more minutes left. Anybody has any questions for Zach? Not me. You guys know all about me by now. Zach attack over there.
Right, yeah, I'm actually monitoring the comments now. So if you guys want to ask me questions, I'll actually answer it in real time.
Yeah. I'll pop them up too. Oh, this was fun. I also want to hear from people if they enjoyed, you know, actually having more than one person on, because I'm thinking about doing roundtables in the new year. We do not have enough time here, constrictors, for Zach's 10-year plan. That would be a whole other podcast. That would actually be a whole other series.
Sure, if you're genuinely curious, in all seriousness, we can actually have that conversation, because I'll tell you, I actually haven't thought through a 10-year plan myself, is what I would answer, just the short version. But I'm always down to talk Ultramel, ball pythons, and like what other people think makes sense. It's hard for me to make a 10-year plan without having a lot of money. You know, because if I had all the money in the world, I could definitely tell you, like, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, I have absolutely no idea. Genuinely no idea. I have a general plan. Like I know I want to get super blackhead in the Ultramel. Beyond that, I don't really know.
You know, it'd be really nice into Ultramel, because you want kind of a gene to kind of darken it up a little bit. Something like Mystic.
You know, I had an opportunity actually to buy a Mystic het Ultramel, and I did a female.
Yeah.
And I actually talked it over with Kabilko, and I don't know if he has actually seen one already, but basically, long story short, I could have made Mystic Potion Ultramels at this point.
Yeah.
Justin Kabilka advised me against it.
Really?
That's yes. And I the way that it sounded, again, you have to kind of, you know, always read into a little bit into advice that people give you. The way that it sounded, based on my relationship with him, was that it sounded like he had maybe already done it. And I would assume that he probably has, because I know that he's had Mojave Ultramels since like 2006.
Yeah.
So like the Mojave Ultramel male that I have comes from a really, really old line. It's like one of the original Ultramels that Kabilka got. Like, you can actually, for those who don't know, by the way, not that Kabilka needs talking up, but one thing I do think needs talking up is his blog. He has a blog that goes back like years and years and years and years. Like, there's a ton of ball python history on his website that a lot of people don't take advantage of. So I would definitely recommend that to people. But again, I'm just trying to kind of like, I'm looking at comments. I don't see anything for me in terms of anything that I've got going on. Or
no, Disco actually would look really nice in Ultramel. I will agree with Shane there.
Yes, I think Shane is trolling me in terms of the fact that I have Trick in my Ultramels already. So fuck you, Shane. Yeah. First, I'm first, by the way. I'm always first. If I'm live, I'm first. So go to hell. No, but seriously, I love you, Shane, man. I respect the hell out of everything you got going on, man. And hell, I don't need to talk you up anymore. I talk you up every time I'm on camera. So go away.
Oh goodness. Well, it is 12:20 here. Yeah. I said I would give it 5 more minutes.
Like 4 hours. So.
Jules said she followed you. She's with Niviol Exotics. It's her and her husband, Nick.
Yeah. Anybody that has followed me literally in the last like hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, that it'll be on my notification on my phone. I'll give you guys a follow back. And I can't thank you all enough.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on. You were one of the first few people when I came up with this originally as an IG series that you were like, I'm down.
I know, and I'm so sorry it took me so long, but honestly, it worked out well. Like I'm glad, I guess, that it took so long for us to schedule this because
you were my first one.
Yeah,
that was Chad. That was Chad.
I'm super stoked to have been here. I hate that I had some internet difficulties in the middle of it, but I think it's going to turn out to obviously produce some laughs and maybe some memes, which is great. So it's all a win. So
send me all the memes, guys. I want to see them. Any screenshots, memes, anything.
Any screenshots of just weird facial expressions of me, I'm totally down to be shared all over the internet as long as they're tagged hashtag Master Ultramel.
Oh my god!
And on that note, I'll give you guys just one more.
One more what?
Well, I mean, I must owe. I'm sure.
I'm empty. I've been empty for a while.
I'm sure I owe a few, so I figured I would, chug for 3. I'm not gonna say the word.
Chad, I'll always be your first.
But yeah, seriously, no. To everybody in the comments, if in all seriousness, if there's a question that I did not get back to, please, I mean it. Message me on any platform. I don't care what it is. I want to have a conversation about it.
Oh yeah.
And Kathleen can attest to this. If I don't respond to everybody in terms of questions or anything, like I genuinely get upset. There was I found out recently, like there was a bunch of YouTube comments I didn't get back to for the last like 4 months. I went back and individually replied to every single one, even if it was people that I knew, even if it was friends of mine. I absolutely replied to you. Please let me know if there's a question that I didn't get to. I want to talk to everyone. I love this community. That's what I'm all about is just helping to build this up. And again, just, just dialogue. I want to meet as many people that are in this hobby as possible. So
absolutely.
Reach out.
Yeah. If anybody isn't following Zach, all his socials, everything is his house address. I'm just kidding. But all his socials are all in the description. I'm going to have to add John Feely's Marshall. Thank you to Marshall Platt from Marshall Law Moore for popping in. John Feely from John Feely Reptiles or about it for popping. For what?
Feely's Clutch, I think is what he
Feely's Clutch. Yeah, Feely's Clutch. I didn't know what the actual name was.
No, you're good. And then obviously Chris Sexton of Helly Guy Serpents.
Yes, and Chris Sexton too for popping in when I literally said, "Here's the link. Come in."
Thank you again for putting it together. So great.
Oh my god, that was so much fun. And all it happened was John Feely messaged me today to comment on something, and I'm just like, "Hey, dude, you want to crash his podcast?" And he's like, "I don't want the attention away from Zach." But
he knows how I am.
He goes, but since you asked, I gotta do it.
Right.
And we were going to time it for when I was starting to take questions. And then I'm like, anybody got a question? I was just going to hit click. But then you forgot Marshall's name, his last name. So I'm just like, and I had them waiting and I'm like, this is just too perfect.
No, it was every bit of it was great. And I hope that, again, I hope the audience appreciated it because in all seriousness, like, again, for those that are still here, thank you. But, I hope you guys know how much, like I said, I described it perfectly. It was like a surprise birthday party. Like, I hope you guys know how much it meant to me. Every single person that got kind of randomly, literally randomly, at least as far as I was not expecting anybody else to be here. I was expecting this to be Kathleen and I talking all night. And this has been an absolute blast. It's been
you never know what I'm going to do.
No, and I love that. I think you're doing really great things here on your channel, and I expect it to grow exponentially. So you're going to be very successful.
Yeah, definitely. Zach's coming back at some point. I think he needs to be more roundtables once I get them coming. Comment if you guys want to see Zach back. Definitely comment below. I am definitely going to call it. Shane, love you too. Jules, love you. Chad, love you-ish. Jojo, thanks for coming. Kayla, everybody, thank you guys for watching. Follow Zach. Zach, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Come back anytime, dude.
I really do. I love all of you. Seriously. Thank you.
All right.
Be safe.
I'm calling it. Love you guys.